Heels ignores WWE and All Elite Wrestling's women's revolution, but it seems to be part of a slow burn story centering on Crystal Tyler, Kelly Berglund. Set in the fictional town of Duffy, Georgia, Heels is about a small-time professional wrestling promotion called the Duffy Wrestling League, DWL, owned and operated by Jack Spade, Stephen Amell. With his tiny but loyal crew of wrestlers, including Jack's younger brother and rival, Ace, Alexander Ludwig, the elder Spade struggles to put on a weekly live wrestling show for his local audience. WWE and AEW have made women's wrestling centerpieces of their shows. WWE's top female stars of the 2000s like Trish Stratus and Lita paved the way for WWE's Women's Revolution, that began in 2015. Led by Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley, WWE's women ditched the company's divas branding, and their hard work, along with countless other female stars, made WWE's women's division one of the best parts of the show. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair even main-evented WrestleMania together, which was the first time two black women headlined WWE's biggest stage. Meanwhile, Drive. Britt Baker becoming AEW Women's Champion capped off her rise as one of All Elite Wrestling's biggest stars. Every other major promotion around the world also showcases women's wrestling. Heels is an authentic depiction of a minor league pro wrestling company, but the DWL is shockingly behind the times when it comes to women's wrestling. Heels certainly boasts compelling female characters, along with Crystal, Jack's wife Stacy, Allison Luff, and his business partner Willie Day, Mary McCormick, are the backbone of the series. Yet women's wrestling is non-existent in the DWL. Crystal is Jack's lone female performer, but she's relegated to being a valet whose main role is to make out with Ace Spade in the ring, and be his girlfriend. Crystal is afforded zero respect by Jack, and Willie even bans her from dressing in the locker room with the boys. Meanwhile, the main storyline of Stephen Amell's wrestling series revolves around Jack and Ace, and both Spade brothers ignore the value Crystal brings to DWL's product, both in ring and backstage. However, Crystal's struggle to be seen by Jack and recognized for her abilities seems to be a slow burn storyline in Heels. With her skimpy cheerleader outfit, Crystal has to settle for a demeaning supporting role in the DWL, but she actually has a keen mind for the creative side of pro wrestling, and she suggests finishes to matches that equal what Jack can create, to his chagrin. Crystal, in her words, is not just a valet, because she can also wrestle, but everyone disregards her in-ring talents. Meanwhile, Crystal has as solid a grasp of professional wrestling as the male wrestlers in DWL, if not more talent than the boys in the locker room. One explanation for why DWL is backward when women are main-eventing WrestleMania can be gleaned from the promotion's founder and Jack's father, the late Tom King Spade, David James Elliott. King Spade was apparently a product of his closed-minded small town, and he might have passed down whatever sexist attitudes he had about women in pro wrestling to his sons. Evidently, women's wrestling is one of Jack's blind spots. Yet Jack is married to Stacy and he relies on Willie to manage the DWL, so he has no issues with intelligent women. But perhaps since DWL has a tiny local audience, it's the town itself that has sexist attitudes about female athletes. Considering how much care Heels takes with its pro wrestling verisimilitude, the lack of women's wrestling in the DWL comes off as glaring for a wrestling company in 2021. From WWE to AEW to other small-time, independent promotions, women's wrestling is flourishing, and some of WWE and AEW's biggest stars are women. In Heels, Crystal has to overcome only being regarded for her looks and the common opinion that she is just an opportunistic groupie instead of what she actually is, a talented pro wrestler bursting with potential. But Heels building to Crystal's gradual recognition as an in-ring talent is an important storyline, and the DWL finally embracing women's wrestling could be a key to Jack Spade's wrestling company turning its fortunes around. Heels airs Sundays on Stars.